Отново сме в Оксфорд, града на замечтаните кули. В предишното предаване правихме телевизия заедно с студентите по журналистика в университета Брукс. А този брой ще се занимаваме с култура. Ако внезапно ви се стори, че гледате Хари Потър, а не телевизионната работилница за изкуство и култура Ателие, не сте далеч от истината. Ще ви отведем в потайностите на Бодлеанската библиотека, където е сниман самият филм и където до ден днешен са снимали само 3 екипа. Този на Хари Потър, на една местна оксфордска телевизия и нашият, на телевизия Алма матер. И за да се почувстваме наистина като вип гости в Великобритания, Ashmolean Museum, музеят за изкуство и археология, отвори вратите си за нас в почивния си ден. Останете с нас, за да видите още кого срещнахме случайно в мола и как няколко души от екипа ни смело се подложиха на мъченията на Бил Спектър, нашият водач в призрачната обиколка на Оксфорд. Скоро след снимачният екип на филма Хари Потър, снимачният екип на телевизия Алма матер е в магическите пространства на Бодлеанската библиотека. В началото на 17 век Томас Бодли, който е създал библиотеката, е успял да сключи споразумение с издателите в Великобритания да дават по едно безплатно копие от всичко, което създават на библиотеката. Така е и до днес. Всяка седмица тук пристигат 6000 издания. Сега е 1 час преди отварянето на библиотеката. Скоро тук ще се изпълни с студенти и академици, които ще правят своите проучвания, така както са го правили през 17 век. Една от най-приятните срещи за екипа на телевизия Алма матер в Оксфорд беше тази с нашият стар познат Ричард Овандън, директор на Бодлеанската библиотека. С него се запознахме в България при отчитането на проекта НАБИС – Национална академична библиотечно-информационна система. Вече 5 години Ричард Овандън пътува до България с една цел – да помогне за дигитализирането на нейните библиотеки. Ето защо на нас ни беше много интересно да разберем какво е мнението му за България и да научим от него малко повече за историята на Бодлеанската библиотека.
Well, the Bodleian is one of the largest university libraries in the world. It's situated inside one of the world's leading universities. We have a book stock of over 30 million volumes. And very deep collections of manuscripts, early printed books, archives, and unique materials which bring researchers from all over the world. But we're also a leader in digital developments and have a massive digital library which is being used extensively by scholars throughout the world, as well as here in Oxford. In 1609 and 1610, Sir Thomas Bodley made an agreement with the Company of Stationers in London, which had the monopoly of printing in Britain, by which one copy of every book published by the Company of Stationers would be given to the Bodleian Library, and in 1710 that was established in law under the Copyright Act of 1710, and through successive changes in the legislation we now receive a copy of every book published in the United Kingdom and in the Republic of Ireland, free of charge, and that means between 3,000 and 5,000 new books arrive here every day. So Thomas Bodley was somebody who was a graduate of the University of Oxford. He came from the city of Exeter in the county of Devon, and he married a rich widow, and then became a diplomat in the court of Elizabeth I and travelled extensively in Europe, as well as developing his own business, and then retired to the university and in the city of Oxford, and discovered that the university library, the building which you visited earlier this morning, had been ransacked during the Protestant Reformation earlier in the 16th century, and he devoted his own energies to renewing that building, to restocking it with books, and to endowing the institution with funds to perpetuate it. Well, the treasures are so many, it's hard to choose. I mean, there are obviously individual books and manuscripts which we are very proud of. We have a great collection of Persian manuscripts which are on exhibition in Australia at the moment, and we have an exhibition in New York of the poet Shelley and his wife Mary Shelley, including the manuscript of Frankenstein, the famous story. But our treasures are also our readers, who come into the library every day and make discoveries of their own, make new knowledge from using our collections, and also our staff. So the staff of the library are also our treasures because they help readers connect with information all the time.
Всяка от книгите в тази зала е безценна. Всяка от тях е била преписвана на ръка. Направата на едно копие отнемало цяла година. Ето защо е бил необходим специален начин, по който да ги защитават. С вериги. Днес също не може да пипате книгите просто така. Всяка от тях има аларма. За това има измислена специална система.
Oxford is the oldest university in the English-speaking world, and one of the oldest universities in Europe. So it has a continuous history of teaching and research on this site for almost 800 years. And in that time, the buildings have grown and adapted, but generally speaking, they're still used for the function which they were originally built. And so that creates a remarkable and unique atmosphere in which to study and work. I very much love Sofia and Bulgaria. It's a wonderful country and a wonderful city, again with lots of history and rich culture and heritage, and a great zeal for learning, I think, among the people I've met in the library community and in the University of Sofia. And wonderful opportunities ahead for your country and for your university and library system to make great developments and to modernise your infrastructure and to help your country develop knowledge and learning and information. And I think it's been very exciting for me and very interesting and wonderful to be able to come once a year over the last few years to Bulgaria, to Sofia, to help advise and discuss future developments in the infrastructure for libraries and information in your country.
За съжаление няма да можем да ви вземем със себе си на частната обиколка, която устроиха специално за нас. Там е забранено дори за нашата камера. Когато разбрах, че тук се е намирало първото фолио на Шекспир, аз едва не припаднах, за разлика от Боряна, която наистина припадна. С пълни очи и сърца напускаме библиотеката, в която някога са били горени книги и която е била отворена само между 10 и 2 следобед, докато е имало естествена светлина, защото е било забранено да се палят свещи. И до ден днешен внасянето на мастилени химикалки е забранено. Книгите вътре са прекалено ценни. Време е да продължим разходката си в Оксфорд. А къде ще ни отведе, дори и ние не знаем. Освен, че е средище на изкуство, култура и забележителности, оказа се, че Оксфорд предлага и прекрасни възможности за пазаруване. И тъй като екипът ни имаше време до следващата среща за снимки, решихме да пазаруваме. Не ни било писано обаче. До нас се приближи странно момиче. Вижте какво ни каза.
Hello, Bulgaria. My name is Dr. Hafsat Buhari Galadima. I am a student from University of Medicine in Varna. I'm back to England. I'm in Oxford University. I'm studying my master's in communicable disease and tropical medicine. I'm happy. I graduated from Bulgaria. I graduated medicine in 2008 от Varna Medicine University. България никога няма да забравя с България.
Как така знаеш български? Я ни разкажи.
Ами, аз знам български, обаче не много добре, защото в България български език е много труден език от начало. Аз уча български език за 1 година преди да почна медицина в Медицински университет Варна. Ние сме в група от моята държава, ние изпращаме там с стипендия, така към много хора сме. И обичам море. Знаеш, в Варна има море, най-любимото ми обичам море. Ами, дискотеките, храна, българска храна много хубави са.
Коя ти е любимата българска храна?
Шопска салата.
Шопска салата?
Да, и обичам българска хляб.
А дали са по-добри българските преподаватели от тези в Оксфорд?
По-добри. По-добре.
Българските?
Обичам българските. Обичам българските. Аз съм вече като българка. Сега, ако искам да имам паспорта, аз искам да имам българско паспорт, не Оксфорд.
А къде искаш да работиш като лекар? Когато вече си лекар, къде?
Ами аз почна да работя като лекарка в моя държава Нигерия. 2009. Аз учи в London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. Заминавам с тропически заболявания само, защото в Африка има много тропически заболявания.
Защо реши да станеш лекар?
Ами, искам да помогна хора. Да, много обичам да стана лекар, защото в моя държава няма много лекари, жените няма много. Много поздрави на професор Иванов, катедрата в акушерство и гинеколог в Медицински университет Варна. Много поздрави на ректора на Медицински университет Варна, професор Клисарова. Много поздрави на професор Маринка Пенева. Тя е много добричка, професор Фенева. Много поздрави на всички учебен отдел.
Можеш ли да кажеш нещо на родния си език?
Ами, нигерийски език?
Да.
Ина сонку, I love you, обичам те. България.
След тази толкова емоционална и изненадваща за нас среща, продължихме с изпълнението на снимачния си план. Следващата ни спирка беше Ashmolean Museum. Наш водач из дебрите на музеят е студентът по история в университета Брукс, Том.
Hello there, I'm Tom Jowett and I work here with the press department at the Ashmolean Museum, and here we are at the very entrance. Inside, the doors aren't open today because we're closed to the public, so you guys get to have a special viewing away from everybody else. So do you want to follow me? This is the Randolph Sculpture Gallery. This is where we keep most of our Greek and ancient Rome sculptures. So this is one of the most popular exhibitions that we have open. This is our Ancient Egypt galleries, especially popular for our 6 mummies which we have on display. So it's very popular with educational groups, school groups, university groups. They really are the public draw for this particular exhibition. They're portraits which were painted after the people were mummified to try and preserve the youth of the person inside, because they thought carrying on into the afterlife, and they needed to be at their best. Images of the people inside on the front, then that's how they would get into the afterlife. So our statue of Augustus is especially interesting, mainly because of the colour. Most people are used to seeing statues from ancient times very much whitewashed with no colour on them whatsoever, and that was something which was actually done in later period of history, predominantly the Victorian times. They were the generation of people who were whitewashing statues just because they thought it looked better. But back in the day when these statues were actually made, they would have looked something a lot more like that. A lot of them would have been coloured, a lot of them would have been painted, just because, again, they would like their statues to look like lifelike representations of who they were meant to be. Frankly, I find 20th century history probably the most exciting. As a history student, I'm sure, you know, a lot of people like to delve further into the past, but I think we only really need to look to the past 100 years to see like a wealth and breadth of human experience. You've got 2 world wars, you've got the growth of capitalism, America becomes a superpower and quickly fades, and now you've got China. I think the past 100 years of history have been the most exciting 100 years of history ever. Oxford is a very magical place to come and study in the UK, mainly because it has such a history in intellect and such a culture for learning. Not only that, but a culture of the arts. Some of the greatest UK writers have come from Oxford. Some of the greatest intellectual minds have studied here at Oxford. Again, this is certainly one of the most popular exhibits in the museum, mainly because it is so unusual to see on these shores. History isn't just all about the history of Europe, of course it isn't, and this is just definitely one of the best things that they've managed to get into the museum, and it provides a lot of enjoyment for our visitors. As I was saying, this gallery is also very important for the history of Oxford because it does show quite a grisly past of this city. This band here and this key supposedly held the Bishop Cranmer as he was in jail waiting to be burnt at the stake by Queen Mary. So it also shows that even though this is a great city of culture, great city of tradition and intellect, it also has its moments of madness where even like the most rational ideas can go out the window and we start burning people at the stake. So it does have a very bloody history as well. I think with Oxford is that it holds such prestige in its name that it has to fight quite hard to keep that prestige up there with the top. And that's something that places like the Ashmolean Museum, the University of Oxford always do. As long as they have that name, they have to just keep on improving their performance. And they do that year in and year out, so I think the future for Oxford is as bright as its glittering past, really. In the actual history of the museum, this is a room where visitors can come and actually get married. So we have probably a few weddings every year, and the bride comes down the staircase and someone's playing a tune on the harpsichord over there.
Никой от нас не се осмели да се ожени в Оксфорд. Но за това пък елате сега с нас на призрачна обиколка в Оксфорд, за да видите колко са смели момичетата от екипа.
Excellent. Well, there we are. Bil Spектър in person. Nice to meet you.
Well, my name is Bill Ritchie, and I play a character called Bil Spектъr. And this is my ghostly character that I use for the ghost trails as I'm making my way around Oxford. Because I'm supposed to be dressed as a Victorian undertaker, which I think is in keeping with the sort of to set the atmosphere correctly for a ghost trail, I think. People do believe in ghosts. Perhaps, I think that especially people who come along on the trail because they feel that they can talk. We're just going down to the right here, is that okay? Because they feel that because I'm interested in it and this is something that I do, they feel more happy to discuss ghosts with me than perhaps they would do with their friends who might laugh at them. But what I have found is that I think about 10% of people, 1 in 10 people, have had some sort of an experience which they think is a ghostly experience and they're not quite sure.
Personally, do you believe in ghosts?
Well, I do, because I've had so many people saying things to me that they've experienced themselves, that we can only believe that they exist because otherwise everybody is wrong about things that have happened to them. And too many people have said so many strange things to me that I think it has to be true, really. Well, a long time ago I trained as an actor, and then I got some work as an actor for a few years, but not enough, and then I met my wife and I thought I had to have more of an income and I needed to earn more money, which is the way of a lot of actors in this country. And then some years ago I got the idea of doing a ghost trail, and so that's how it started, and then it got busier and busier and busier. This little street here is called Brasenose Lane, and actually it's in this street that some say the devil himself has made an appearance. Il Diablo. I don't know what's the devil in Bulgarian.
Дявол.
Devil.
Дявол.
Oh, Diablo.
Diablo.
Well, the devil himself may well have made an appearance down this little lane in the past. Who knows? Look at this window just behind me. Did you see it there? Yeah. Well, that is the very window where apparently the Brasenose hellfire club was running.
Бил Спектър ни накара да се почувстваме в друго време и в друг свят. Следващите кадри обаче са неподходящи за хора с слаби сърца и нерви, но пък показват, че когато човек вземе толкова много, колкото нас от Оксфорд, се трябва да остави нещо. Сега се разделяме с вас до следващият път, когато Ачо и Велияна ще ви покажат как живеят студентите в Оксфорд.
Alright, once more with gusto now, after 3. 1, 2, 3. Give us... Oh, no! No, I call that a sign, ladies, and a flaming red-hot one to boot. 1, 2, and a 3. That's on the floor here. All right, Boriana. So after 3. 1, and a 2. Wait for it, Boriana. Yeah, don't rush me now. Yeah. 1, and a 2, and a 3. There we are now. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Already now. So 1, yeah, and a 2, yeah, and a 3. Oh, there we are. Yeah. I'm a cover of a